The Yellow Brick Road. This video does not reflect the actual views of real people. These are actors playing a role to entertain audiences. No persons or animals were harmed in the making of this video. Gosh, I love YouTube and I love Google.
Welcome to the Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan. This is James. And tonight, to whatever time it is, wherever we're at, we're going to be discussing Ben Shapiro and his rant regarding the firing of Mark Lamont Hill.
We should have him on.
Will you guys have any morning streams? Possibly. I doubt it, but possibly. Either way, you can always go back and, watch it.
Well, then he can't conversate.
Fuck. There's a comment section. Whatever. We'll figure that out.
But toast-its. When I eat toast.
So yeah, we're going to watch Ben Shapiro's rant about Mark Lamont Hill and his whole UN speech thingy. Let's jump right into it. I said
it.
I have to say that in the past few weeks, really since the Pittsburgh shooting, the left has been on a tear about the supposed anti-Semitism of the Trump administration. We saw a piece from the New York Times saying that Jared and Ivanka were complicit in anti-Semitism. We saw many pieces talking about how the Trump administration had forwarded anti-Semitism, rises in hate crimes against Jews, and all the rest. First of all, the statistics that were cited by the ADL were just not true. But beyond that, if you want to talk about real, mainstreamed anti-Semitism, it does not exist in the Trump administration. It exists on the left. And this is coming from a guy who received an enormous amount of anti-Semitism in 2016, like the most of anyone on the internet in 2016, from the alt-right, from people who I thought Trump was winking and nodding at during 2016. But to suggest the Trump administration has been complicit in anti-Semitism is just bizarre. It's a bizarre claim. There's no evidence of it whatsoever. The Trump administration, not the Trump campaign, the Trump administration. That is a bizarre, weird, and unsupportable claim. The mainstream left, however, is daily involved in anti-Semitism. And it is amazing to watch as the left defends its own from open anti-Semitism. The latest example comes courtesy of a guy named Mark Lamont Hill. Mark Lamont Hill is considered an intelligent political commentator over at CNN. And he was speaking at the UN yesterday, and he called for the elimination of the State of Israel. He used the language of Hamas.
No, he didn't.
Hey, here's what Mark Lamont Hill had to say.
We must advocate and promote nonviolence at every opportunity, but we cannot endorse a narrow politics of respectability that shames Palestinians for resisting, for refusing to do nothing in the face of state violence and ethnic cleansing, to commit to political action that will give us what justice requires, and that is a free Palestine.
Okay, a free Palestine. And then he went on and he said that the free Palestine must be from the river to the sea, which is the 1488 statement. So the 1488 statement in Nazi terminology, it's meant to be 88 is supposed to be the 8th letter of the alphabet twice. So Heil Hitler. The 14 words are something like we pledge to protect and keep the white race or some such nonsense. The 1488 statement is sort of the credo of Nazis. Okay, the credo of radical Muslim Nazis, okay? The credo of these folks is Palestine shall be free from the river to the sea. This is a thing that gets chanted at every terrorist rally. The idea being that Palestine from the river to sea, meaning the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, will be entirely Judenrein. Right? The idea here will be that Palestine will exist, Israel will no longer exist, Palestine will replace Israel, and that inherently means the destruction of the Jews and the genocide of the Jews.
The king of generalization and I don't want to. No, he's literally creating something out of nothing.
Yeah, let's start with the 1488 thing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I get it. That's some sort of symbol for something. Then it's right. The 14 stands for like some sort of phrase. And it's that all white men should blah blah blah. He started saying it, and then you realize, well, what would that have to do with Mark Lamont Hill, or even Arabs or Muslims or Hamas or any? Why would they be saying freedom for all white men, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense.
No.
Saying that Hill is quoting Hamas. I mean, is he really saying that? Either way, first of all, they can always associate Hamas with whatever they want, and they turn those people into the bad guys.
Yeah.
Right? Hamas said they like Frosted Flakes. Oh, I'm eating Frosted Flakes. I guess that makes me a Hamas supporter somehow. And then the conflation of wanting to free Palestine with, oh, that just means the elimination on. He took like 2 steps of conflation there. First, he conflated wanting a free Palestine with completely eliminating Israel.
Yeah.
And then he conflated it with, that means the genocide of Jewish people.
You know what this motherfucker did?
This is creepy.
This dude did like a 30-foot broad jump.
Yeah.
This dude had a 50-inch vertical. 50 inches. And he's like 5'6". Alright. Toasted. Not saying what Mark Lamont Hill said is anti-Semitic, but I find this karma because this motherfucker calls everything and anything racist, edited version.
And that's the thing about it. Well, I don't know any of his other shit. But if you're working for CNN, I assumed he was, like I said it beforehand, like he seems like one of those guys trying to be a civil rights leader from like the 60s.
Yeah, could be. But at the same time, I didn't disagree with him. I didn't disagree with anything that guy said within that speech.
Me neither.
Not one thing.
Yeah, well, maybe certain things. Once again, playing the SJW card. I think he sort of did that.
On paper.
Like, I need to name every group to make sure that no
paper.
one's left out.
Well, on paper.
Yeah.
Now, if I ask him what do you mean by this and why should we, then that's another story.
Yeah.
He was head of the Black Lives Matter.
There you go.
Okay.
But this is fucking gross. It's disgusting to conflate those two.
It is. It's absolutely irresponsible.
You're telling me
Absolutely.
You're telling me Mr. SJW, former CNN worker, is advocating for the genocide of the Jewish people. You had to make that up in your mind. And like we said before, we don't know how you sleep at night.
I don't know how this dude sleeps at night. I really don't. This is not
He's
a
fucking
joke.
creep, man.
This is not a joke. He is a fucking creep.
He acts like a creep.
No, dude.
He acts like a creep.
To act like one.
Like, I don't.
Hey,
honestly,
man.
I don't think he rarely says something of substance. And that's when he's talking about religion. He might have some substance going on there. But
Sure.
for the most part, it's all typical political rhetoric, but he says it fast, and he owns college kids when he does it.
He owns them. Wow, great job.
That's his claim to fame. Other than that, pretty much nothing there.
I don't really find intelligence meaning that you know the definition of word, the definition, which means it was given to you, and you can reiterate it and repeat it. I memorize these definitions, like, wow, dude. And they're on the surface level arguments at best. Wow, dude. There's a reason why you will not go up there with an established, guy who understands morality and philosophical ideas, metaphysical ideas, existential ideas. It will not happen. You know why? This dude is going to get wrecked. And when you combine that on top of things as far as geopolitical things, like events and historical events, you combine the two, he's fucked.
Look at, well, shit, we didn't show that video, but I was watching a video of Lauren Southern with this guy Ali something. They're sort of having a on the street type of debate.
Yeah.
And he was sort of schooling her on what the religion's actually about. Like, these guys are taking it and doing something shitty with it.
Yeah.
It's like, in my book, I'm not allowed to shake your hand. So how am I going around raping girls? How could my people practicing my religion go around raping girls if I can't shake your hand unless we're married?
For Christianity, right? The Ten Commandments?
Yeah.
Thou shalt not kill. So are those true Christians running around like fucking murdering people? my analogy. I'm not saying there's Christians running around killing people, because even if they were, right? Are they really Christians? Or are they taking something from over here and twisting it?
Probably twisting it.
So there you go.
I would love to see.
There you go. See?
I would love to see an enlightened rabbi sit down with Ben Shapiro, get it all, and give him 8 hours of camera work. Let him get a little lunch break in between. Have them sit down and let them discuss morality and how what may or may not be happening. Like, they don't even have to come to the conclusion that the Israeli government's doing anything to Palestinian people. Let's just have those two sit down and just discuss what's going on. Like, here's the ideas that are out here. Like, do we know any of this, or is this speculation? Like, if this part you don't know, then how are you fully accepting the government's stance on it? Right? You have to at least consider this side too.
It's a form of corruption.
Have them sit down and talk about it. A child rapist, the death penalty, and cut his balls off or whatever. What's the word for that?
Castration.
Castration. It's like what's moral about that stance?
There's nothing moral about it.
No, there isn't. He has no justification for it either.
Nothing good can come from an empty act.
Have an enlightened rabbi that reads the book that he's into, that seems to be what's pushing him towards all this other shit.
Yeah.
Just like Muslim extremists, just like Christian extremists, just like any ideological extremists. Have an enlightened version of all those types sit down with guys like this and watch them folly. Shit themselves. They might hold their shit together because, there's a camera on somewhere.
Yeah. Alright. Toaster Network, is it okay if I like Ben Shapiro?
Yeah.
That's fine, dude. I just want like people to understand like what he's saying, specifically, Like he's not a guy I would go to for existential ideas or ideals. Moral ideals, I would not go for him for that. To be honest with you, there's not a lot I'd go to him for. I merely discovered him when I was going through some of sort of like, I would say, internal investigating. When I found this guy, it was very easy to kind of just swipe him over.
I think there's a religious core to everything he says. You got to remember that. So when you hear him talking about you're a man, you're a man, you're a man, talking about transgender, understand where that's coming from. When he's talking about abortion issues, understand where he's coming from. I don't think these are moral stances. I think these are conditioned.
Yeah.
Parents taught me this.
Oh, God.
My neighborhood taught me this type of guy.
All right.
Not grounded morals.
Sure. All right. Norman Jacobs. Are you serious? Yes, he absolutely does challenge, quote, established people. That sounds like an opinion. Watch a few videos. We watched many. You sound dumb. Seriously. You're the one that may not understand what we're saying. So, how is he anti-Semitic? He's Jewish. If you're referring me calling Ben Shapiro anti-Semitic, then you clearly do not understand what I'm saying or Jordan at all, whatsoever. Toasted Network, he brings up some good points when it comes to politics in my mind.
But there's such simple things that it's like doing stand-up comedy in New York. Like, man, I love New York. Yeah, that's where I'm from. Yeah. They seem like simple points to me.
You guys ever take under consideration that he just kind of regurgitates old Republican talking points?
Nah. Hey, Norman, what are we misunderstanding?
Clearly you don't understand what he's saying. What is he saying? Norman Jacobs. Tell me what he's saying.
And it could be anything, too.
Anything.
Not just Mark Lamont Hill's, that situation, but any type of scenario. Until then, we will continue. Or did he reply already?
You're right, I do. You're misusing words and using them out of context. Like what? I just listened to what he said. Amongst other things, like what? You know, Norman, actually...
Oh, that was it. Oh, all right.
Well, I was going to say, he could always...
I don't care.
Norman, you can call in if you want. That is available.
Continuing.
Okay, this is not, they've not been hiding the ball on this. It is not as though any of this is a giant secret. None of this is a giant secret. Okay, and Mark Lamont Hill has a long history of such anti-Semitic comments. Okay, in May 2018, Hill implied that Israelis were murderers in the Huffington Post, according to Hank Berrien over at the Daily Wire. He says this is about the 70-year struggle of a people who have been expelled, murdered, robbed, imprisoned, and occupied. He defended Palestinians' right to use violence against Israel, and then said the Palestinians actually wanted peace, which is nonsense. He then continued by slamming Israel's right to exist. He said, by naturalizing the idea that nation-states have a right to exist, we undermine our ability to offer a moral critique of Israel or any settler colony's origin story. Israel is not a settler colony. Israel is the eternal homeland of the Jewish people. The only reason anyone cares about it ever historically is because the Jews were there first. It is biblically promised, and not only that, there's been a continuous presence in the land of Israel by Jews since anyone gave a damn about the land.
Once again, if Ben was on the other team, he'd be making just as much of a rant. If someone else said something about the Palestinians and he was on the team Palestine, he'd be doing the same thing. That's where I think his moral character is. He's on a team. He's been raised on a team.
Conditioning.
Yeah, and I don't mean genetics. I mean culturally raised a certain way to follow a certain ideology.
Okay. Toaster Network, can you do a video on the Young Turks in the progressive voice? Sure, dude.
Oh, we could kill the Turks, too.
All right.
Progressive voice.
Norman Jacobs, the main point he pushes is that there are 3 keys to not being poor, all of which stem from self-responsibility, graduating high school, not having a baby out of wedlock, and having a job. Silly.
Yeah, those are poor answers. Right?
Norman Jacobs, you may not...
Because this is another thing like something Stefan Molyneux does, where they surround their argument talking about the free market and money. It's like we created the concept of money and all that.
Yeah.
So what you do is you take the best possible scenario and you look at that. What's the best possible scenario? Free school, free food, free fucking shelter, free water, and all that basic things that should be there. You should be aiming for that, period.
It's basically striving for what should be. And when I say should be, it's when you have... No, it's when you know.
It's the same as Sam Cedar arguing about the Democrats.
Hold on, dude.
And arguing about Jimmy Dore. When he's like, we need to do all this politicizing so that one day our leader, the person we actually want, will be in office someday.
Right.
We need to play all the political games to get up to that moment when our chosen politician wins the seat or wins the presidency or wins whatever. That's probably would be his explanation for the way economics should go.
Correct.
We need to make sure that this system stays here so that someday we'll all have shelter and we'll all have food and we'll all have we won't have free college. We'll all be able to afford college and all that. Those are things we made up. They're Republican talking points to me.
You may not like the delivery, but don't dismiss the message because you don't like the messenger. Dude, I don't like him because of his ideas.
Yeah.
It's not who he is.
I don't care if he's nice or...
Yeah.
There's plenty of guys that are angry that I like hearing talk. Jimmy Dore for one.
Norman Jacobs, call in on the show. It's up to you, Norman. He systematically disproves every point of SGW and leftists, yet people somehow perpetuate the same lies. Wage gap, racism, and the list goes on. Dude, this guy's here because a bunch of silly people were here to prop him up. Without those silly people, what happens?
Those are such simple, easy answers to get at, or simple questions to answer, right? They're basic things, yet he gets to argue them in a certain way to where it sounds like he's making some grand point.
Hold on. Yeah. All right. STEM. Oh, stemming. Hey, dude, I was just reading your words, My bad. Norman Jacobs, it's not a poor answer. For example, the entire issues plaguing the black community are a direct result of these three things not being valued. Be honest. I am being honest. I've done the work for that.
For example, the entire issues plaguing. No, that's not true.
It's not true at all.
But I would consider them if we stick to the system we have and the way we do things. Actually, the system doesn't even matter. The big problem is corruption.
It's corruption,
right? Because in a let's say take capitalism, pure capitalism, and we have someone creates whatever, the iPhone, and they're super billionaires.
Yeah.
In a incorrupt society, that person would know. They would know that I can't let these people be poor and live outside and not be hungry and starving. I have to help them. That's my moral obligation. Otherwise, it's empty corruption.
That would require that person to know the difference between good and evil.
Yeah.
Oh. What's the number? It's not a number. It's an email. It's what's it called?
Go on the Google Hang. I'll type it.
All right. Mr. Spinks.
Spinks, where have you been?
Shapiro is a globalist. I don't know if he's a globalist.
He's a globalist.
I just think he's someone who's extremely conditioned and doesn't really have an understanding between good and evil. Or my bad, doesn't know the difference between good and evil. I think he's corrupt. Toasted, should I give the Gmail address for you guys? Sure. How do I call in? Oh, you already asked that. You're not. I'm not what? What number do I call in to speak with you? Okay. Exactly right. The system is unimportant as long as the ruling class pulls the strings. Well, what I'm trying to hit home is, you have a system, capitalism, communism. Those things are neutral. It's when people are corrupt.
No system will work if there's any type of corruption.
Yeah.
Even a little bit of corruption.
So if that system becomes corrupted by the people, it is no longer a system. See, these are existential ideas here, corruption,
and
good versus evil, etc., etc.
And that would be a philosophical way of looking at it, right? Someone could say something that's true, but if it's not understood to them as true, then they're not really saying a true statement. That's philosophical, flowery type shit.
Sure.
But
again, what I'm trying to say here is this guy, Shapiro, does not want to go there. And if he does, all of these great talking points he has, they easily get smacked down. Yeah. Easily. The system requires believing the constructs. Well, that's ignorance.
Yeah, very. You have to be conditioned into it, sort of like the Matrix, which is what I think Tanya's getting at.
Yeah, Toasted Network. Should I contact you on Google Hangouts and give Norman Jacobs the link?
If you want. Oh, I have the email right here ready.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go, Norman.
But again, that's what I'm trying to say. What great points has he ever really made? Seriously. Rather than on the surface,
I hear
very easy to digest.
He makes a decent argument for something metaphysical being the reason for morality, but I hear a bunch of quoting. Two, it could just be him trying to hold up his religion and all that. That's where discernment comes into play. Yeah. That's you have to, what would be a good metaphor? Put the sword through the fire.
Discernment.
Yeah. It has to be tested. Discernment, being able to pick right from wrong. And
well, if you know.
Yeah. But, if you're new to us, you gotta put some kind of work into.
Alright. Did he get it?
All right, we'll keep going.
All right.
While we find it.
Download, then what?
Go to Google Hangouts. If you're on YouTube, so you have a Google account, you just go into Google Hangouts, and you can message or call the email I just put in there. The grocery list 132112@gmail.com. Let's continue.
Mark Lamont Hill is also a guy who has who's basically sloughed off openly anti-Semitic commentary from Louis Farrakhan. Mark Lamont Hill said that it was offensive to compare Palestinian resistance to settler colonialism to the actions of ISIS, even while Hamas was firing rockets at Jewish areas. And in 2014, he tweeted that he opposed the occupation of Gaza, the only problem being that there was no occupation of Gaza. Israel left Gaza in August of 2005. In 2008, Sean Hannity confronted Mark Lamont Hill with the remarks of Louis Farrakhan. Louis Farrakhan had called Judaism a gutter religion. Mark Lamont Hill was tight with Louis Farrakhan. And here is what Hill said. Sean Hannity confronted Mark Lamont Hill with the remarks of Louis Farrakhan. Louis Farrakhan had called Judaism a gutter religion. Mark Lamont Hill was tight with Louis Farrakhan.
A what religion? I can't even hear that.
I can't hear him. He's saying gutter or government.
Okay. People like Shapiro because, and even I have to admit this, it's enjoyable watching him dismantle as shit up is. Hey, that's sort of what we were saying. But other than that, he's a hack.
That's my point.
Spinks.
He has to literally battle ideas on that level. On the surface, easy to digest.
Just,
like,
yeah.
I'm a woman. No, you're not. You're a man. You have XY chromosomes. Yeah! Like, wow, dude. Wow.
Just notice when he says the left, just notice that he means corporate media Democrats, right? He doesn't say Jimmy Dore's name.
No.
He doesn't say Chris Hedges' name. Does he say Cornel West? If he has, I haven't seen it. You can send me a link or whatever. Thanks, Toasted, for putting a link in there.
And here is what Hill said. He said, quote, "I do not know whether Farrakhan is an anti-Semite. Those quotes are severely out of context." And so Mark Lamont Hill has been a long-time anti-Semite. There's not really a lot of question about this. His statement...
You see how that's a giant leap?
It's a leap in logic.
There's just no question about it. I read 3 quotes that said nothing about hating Jewish people, but I'm just taking that leap because I have a fan base who will follow me no matter what I say until someone intellectually dismantles me someday.
Toasted, I think he's right on transgenderism and abortion. I don't know, dude.
I think he's completely wrong about abortion because, like I said, I don't think he understands morality really.
So how can
he might intellectualize it, but I don't think he understands it fully, completely in practice.
Because
I think he found a book to follow and he just follows
sure.
it.
So when he says this, right? When he's talking about abortion, he's like, no, it's a life. Ah, but you were all for killing and cutting off someone's fucking balls and shit.
Yeah.
So what do you understand about morality? You know,
Not
as
much.
far as unbreakable morals. Imagine him in a temple. Like if I come around with a hammer and I start swinging the hammer, I start hitting the pillars of that temple. You know, the temple basically representing, you know, your morals, your morality. Are they breakable? We're gonna find out right now.
I got you right now, Norman. Also, I want to say, choice. You need to make a choice in order to make a moral decision.
All right,
Otherwise, yeah.
Mr. Spinks. Hold on.
Sorry, I didn't hear the fucking
Tanya,
message.
he sounds 10. LOL. Toasted. The new Black Panther Party does hate Jews, and they are progressive. I did not know that, and they probably don't really hate anything, or anybody does. Mr. Spinks, question Shapiro, anti-Semitic? Maybe.
Pick up the phone, Mr. Jacobs.
Fuck.
Hello. Hey, Norman.
Hello, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
Well, if I'm talking low, my kids are sleeping.
All good.
All good, man.
My kids are
Okay,
sleeping too.
So basically, I don't have a lot of time, but in a nutshell, I didn't catch your whole video. What is the real issue with Ben Shapiro? Is it delivery? Are you disputing the facts? Because he cites all the sources, so you can't dispute the facts. So what is the real issue?
Well, I believe there's a motive behind what he says. Stating the facts, he could be selective with it. I don't know how long you were listening, but when he makes a blanket term like, well, Mark Lamont Hill is anti-Semitic, and that's all there is about it. That's all there is to it. And then he moves on. It's like, come on, man.
That is a huge leap, especially when you're examining what he said. What was it at the... Where was that speech at he gave?
He gave a lot of
college?
speeches.
At a college?
No. Hill.
Oh, at the UN.
At the UN.
Yeah.
Looking it over, I didn't see anything that was even remotely anti-Semitic, you know.
That doesn't mean he's not anti-Semitic, though.
But we don't know that.
That's anecdotal. That's
Yeah,
like saying because if somebody has a black friend, they're not racist.
No, that's
It's
not what I'm saying at all.
Okay, so how does it make the leap that he is anti-Semitic?
To be completely fair, I don't know enough about this particular person you're talking about to reference that. But what I do know is that Ben Shapiro is probably the most famous Jew in America. He received more hate email from. It is well documented, but what I'm saying is, I don't think you make a claim like that without the evidence to back it up. That being said, I personally don't have the evidence, and nor do I even know who that guy is. Now, what does puzzle me about anti-Semitic things in general is that I only hear about anti-Semitic comments when it comes from a white person. Like, for instance, Farrakhan. Farrakhan called Jews termites. Nobody ever speaks about this. Why is that? Why is it okay for people of color to say things that white people would never be able to say?
Hold on. Is that a quote?
But it is okay. No, I live it. I see it every day. You see it on the news. Turn on CNN.
I did see the Farrakhan quote from the Laura Loomer protest. She brought up. She was like, "Why am I getting kicked off?" And then this is allowed.
Look at it. It was a tweet on Twitter.
No, I saw it. I saw it.
It's world famous. I mean, and there's absolutely no outrage because of it. And why is that?
Because Louis Farrakhan's considered some like conspiracy theorist dude that I don't think a lot of people pay attention to anyways.
I don't think that's what it is. I think that it's because if you attack Farrakhan, if anybody other than a black man attacks him, it's simply on the basis of race. It can't be for anything he said. It can't be anything. That's how it is in 2018. If I have an issue with a black person, it can't be the issue at hand. It has to be because I'm white and he's black. And that's just the way everything goes. Like everything Ben Shapiro says, although you'll say it's not metaphysical, and a lot of the problems that plague the world right now are not metaphysical. Okay,
That's completely wrong.
It's not though.
That is completely wrong.
Can I finish? You guys have a channel. I'm not trying to be rude. You guys can talk all night. All I'm saying is, okay, transgender women are not real women. They're just not, and it's an insult to women to say that they are. Okay, I mean that's just you learn that in second grade.
That's why we call them transgender women.
Okay, but that's not what they want though. And hate speech and everything else around it. People are being jailed in other countries, losing their businesses over misgendering a person, and that's coming to the United States. Okay, that's a very real thing. Real repercussions of that.
I agree. I 100% agree with you on that. But
okay.
But holding up this argument from these silly ideas that we know are fucking silly.
Like what?
Like the transgender thing, right? That's a silly idea to force people to use your whatever pronouns, gender pronouns.
Of course, no other time would we ever make a law to make the other 99.9% comply to the less than 1%.
Yeah.
And not to mention that these people are over 60% likely to kill themselves, which is not a shot at them. It's a fact. These people are severely mentally ill. And no other time in history do we give mentally ill patients sharp objects to cut themselves to pieces with and then have society play along with their evil joke.
Now you're leaping.
I'm not leaping.
I was with you, and now you're leaping.
I'm not leaping. How am I leaping? If you have schizophrenia, nobody, like Ben Shapiro says, I'll quote him, his grandfather had schizophrenia. Nobody played along and said, yes, the toaster is talking to you. They put him in a hospital, gave him meds, and he lived a productive life. With no other mental illness do we play along with. Why are we playing along with this one?
Because they're not treating it like a...
They are. Gender dysphoria disorder. It's a mental illness.
That's probably a small amount of cases. The main argument I hear is that people want to be called what they want to be called. Like someone named Bob wants to be called Bob, not Robert, or something like that. That's the main argument I hear. Also, a famous, I wouldn't say famous, but semi-famous YouTuber talking about they don't make an argument that they're not a man or not a woman because they know they have to go. They know they have to go to the doctors, and when they get something performed on them, the doctor needs to know what their biology is made of. So
yeah, but that's not the reality though. The reality is, if you do a little research, that the vast majority of it want to be treated as women. They got men that are being trans, whatever you call it, into changing into women, and they're going and beating the shit out of women in combat sports. Are you kidding me? Like, that's okay?
That's wanting to be culturally treated like women. No, I think that's dumb.
And that's not okay.
It is dumb.
Hold on, I think that's dumb.
It is dumb
because what does being a man mean? What does being a woman mean as far as behavior and things like that? I think
I'll tell you what it means. It means more than having a penis, because men lose their penis, and we don't consider them not men anymore. That's not what makes a man a man. It's a lot
like
more.
this. My bad, but it's literally like if we have a woman that says, "Well, I was born a man," and then I ask them, "Okay, well, what does it mean to be a man?" Not once have I ever really heard that subject come up. That's basically he's talking about existential ideas as far as feeling what's internal being expressed in the external externally.
Yeah. Does that mean wearing a skirt over wearing pants?
No.
So like
that's socially.
I think that's the argument they're trying to make.
But I've got to be honest.
They mean culturally women.
Hold on. What's up, dude?
The other thing I wanted to say was, what I said was that another thing that Ben Shapiro was really one of the main things I hear him say over and over and over again is the three things that will determine whether you're permanently poor in America. And if you wait till you're married to have kids, you graduate high school, and you get a full-time job, you will not be permanently poor in America. And if you look at those three things, and the black community particularly, and I understand I'm a white guy, so I got to check my white privilege, and I can't speak on things that are painfully obvious because I'm not black and I never lived it, so I don't understand common
You can say whatever you want here.
Dude, I'm saying, but that's what everybody says to me or anybody. If I make any comment or observation about the black community, I must be a racist. So here's what I'm saying, okay? Like I heard you say something before. I'm not trying to be rude. I've had very minimal exposure to your page. I've seen you as a black guy and a white guy. The guy on the right, what's your name?
Wait.
The black guy.
The black guy? Yeah, you could say the black guy. Jordan.
Okay, Jordan. I just totally lost my train of thought.
I thought I was black.
The economics with the three things you got to do.
Okay, yes, I noticed that you said something about. I'm paraphrasing. You said that if things were ideal, everything would be free. Free food, free money, free whatever. You said something to that effect about 10 minutes ago.
As far as basic human needs, isn't that the highest ideal?
I disagree, because if you look at everything that was given to people for free, for example, okay, people like to say that immigrants should be able to come here today because this country is founded on immigrants. The difference being the welfare system. When immigrants back in the day came over, they had to work their ass off, and there was nobody there to pull them up and give them assistance. And that's why those immigrants turned into business owners and wealthy people. And the immigrants that came in the last 20 years are consuming the welfare system. For example, if you look in the black community, okay, the problems that plague the black community are a direct result of not having males in the household. For example, the welfare system perpetuates not having males in the household. Women in inner cities, namely black women, are rewarded for not having a man around. You get more money if you don't have a man. You get welfare. You get this, that, and the third. And you know it to be true. And that keeps people in a system of being oppressing themselves. It's the truth. So what I'm saying is, instead of telling young black men that they are systematically oppressed by some white man out there that is holding them down, which is just fundamentally not true. And so if you make a black kid think that, right, and they're going to live their whole life with a complex that isn't true, and think that every negative thing that happens to them, which is more than likely a direct result of their parents' bad choices or their own, is the result of some white guy they've never met. And it's just not true. When in reality, if you teach them where fathers need to stay in the house, you'd be amazing what one generation of that would do. For example, in the 60s, right, or the 50s, during the civil rights movements, it was like 20% single black mothers, okay? Now it's upwards of 80%. Did society do that to them, or did they do that to themselves? These aren't white people doing this to black people, is what I'm saying.
I definitely don't think that.
And what I'm saying, and when people say that it's oh, well, white people as a whole are more rich than black people, it must be racism. Well, Asians as a whole are more rich than everybody. So is it an Asian system?
No.
Is it secretly racist in favor of the Asians?
Okay, but those are dumb arguments.
They're not dumb arguments. They're laced with fact. What's
No, not your argument. The people that are saying that it's the white guy making my life suck.
That's silly.
But that is the whole argument on the left, though.
No.
The whole socialist argument. For example, if you're poor and I'm rich, you must be poor because I made you poor. And that's not the case. If someone's rich and you're poor, they did things that you're not willing to do to get there. You shouldn't hate them. You should admire them and learn from them.
If they do things that would go against my morality, then yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't hate them. I would hate what they do.
You're talking about a small percentage of people.
I guarantee you, like, as far as specifically, if we're talking about morality, meaning corruption and ignorance, that'd be a large percentage of people.
Well, for one thing, I'd have to say morality is a subjective term. What's moral in the United States is not moral in Saudi Arabia. It's moral to rape your wife. It's moral to
your man Ben Shapiro would tear that argument apart.
No, he wouldn't. It's moral to throw
he believes in objective
gay
morality.
guy off a roof in Saudi Arabia. That's moral to everybody that believes in Islam.
Ben Shapiro, guys like Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, they will tear apart moral relativism. They will tear that argument apart.
I disagree.
They both believe in objective morality.
And you can't use their argument to tear my argument apart when you disagree with them fundamentally and think they're evil.
I don't think they're evil.
Whoa.
I don't think they're evil.
You did. You said that you said the things that I forget the word you said, but it was completely obtuse and false. Everything he said is steeped with fact.
What I said was, I don't hate him, I hate his ideas.
And the fact is, if everything was made more metaphysical, like you say, which I'm not sure you know what that means exactly, but if it was made that way, and it was made so deep, and how many people do you think would get the message?
Well, here's the thing. It's one person's... I think it should be an ideal for someone to pursue something like that, which is why...
You think it should be. But now you're pushing your ideals on someone else, is what I'm saying. So,
no. Hold on.
Those are all things that are subjectable based on who you're talking to.
Well, what is the subject in this discussion, right? You're saying subjectivity. Well, what is the thing that is subjective?
Well, I honestly can't think of anything fundamentally. He might be bombastic, but fundamentally, I can't think of anything I disagree with. And they always say Republican talking points, but maybe it's just the truth. Maybe we're pushing the truth.
Well, you jumped over the whole metaphysical argument, right? You're talking about morality being subjective. What is the subject there?
No, I said it can be. I said it can be based on who you're talking to. So to say that everybody should be moral is very vague.
No, we can get detailed on that.
We can, but somebody else somewhere else in the world may feel differently than you, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but we can look at, as far as objective morality, then the people would be either conditioned away from or purposely choosing not to follow a certain moral code.
Like some would say that abortion is completely immoral. Would you?
Abortion?
I would. Yes. I'd say it's fundamentally murder.
I would
say act like it's the only option is a lie, because the abortion argument always starts at when the woman's pregnant and has no options. What about before that? What about before she had sex? That's when the question starts, not when she's pregnant with no options, because that was after a series of choices or lack thereof that got her in that position.
I
Just
agree,
like they want to use the exception to argue the whole rule. They want to say, well, what about the woman with Down syndrome that was raped? Should she have to carry a baby? No, she shouldn't. And that's less than 0.5% of abortions. So let's be real. Most of them are people that were just too lazy.
Okay, I think that abortion is the wrong thing to go with. But the people have to have choice. They have to. Otherwise, there is no moral decision there. If the point is to make society more moral, then there has to be a moral decision. There has to be a choice. That's essentially what a moral is. It comes down to a choice. If there is no choice, then there is no morality.
With all due respect, how
So you can't put it into law or anything.
How can killing a baby be the moral choice?
No.
No.
It's the choice.
The choice itself has to exist in order for there to be a moral choice.
But
we have to give them. Hold on. We have to give them the room to choose not to have an abortion. You see what I mean? Rather than making it a strict law.
Okay, just like we give people the choice not to kill people, but if they do, they're treated accordingly. So why isn't that the case?
Well, keep going with that. Keep going. Yeah.
Correct. There has to be choice there for it to be a moral choice.
What I'm saying.
Straight up. Otherwise, hold on. Otherwise, if Bobby's imagining hurting someone all day, but he doesn't do it because he's afraid of getting caught by the police.
Yeah.
Is he making a moral choice or is he making a fear choice? He's making a fear choice.
It's not a morality
as long as he did the
And
moral
that has,
thing, though.
and those fear choices have implications as far as existentialism and metaphysical things, properties.
Perhaps that's all true, but I think we're making it much more difficult than it is. I think giving somebody a choice to do something moral or immoral, and then having them do the immoral thing, is not moral. Just because
force.
you started off with the no, it's not force. Can people kill themselves?
Can people kill themselves?
It's illegal to attempt suicide. You will get put in a home.
Yeah.
Why don't you have the choice to do that?
You should have the choice to do that.
But you don't.
Listen, the answers to these things are not for, I would say, the weak-minded or the kids. This is when adults enter the room, they sit down at the table, and they talk about these things.
What do you mean by adults?
Adults as in maturity, not age number.
Adults are in the people that when they don't like the ideas they hear, they need safe spaces and screen people out of restaurants and those.
Yeah,
adults.
those are children.
Yeah, those are kids.
Well, that's the entire left side, though.
Not the entire left side.
Probably the side that gets propped up. You know what I mean?
The guy
So it's the loudest kid. It's the loudest guy in the room. Might be the dumbest guy in the room. You know what I mean?
He might be.
You know, it's like it's sad because when we see that, it's like, well, does this guy right here being loud and stupid and silly represent everybody else on the side of the spectrum?
And it gets,
probably not.
And it gets
like
replayed on the nightly news every night. You know, like those type of ideas are the things getting replayed over and over. That's why Trump got elected, I think, partially.
Well, let's stick with that point, okay? Because again, this feels like it's all race related, and I feel like it is all race related right now because that's how they make everything through a prism of race. So
what's race
that being
related?
said,
The mainstream news, right?
everything that is going on in the United States today, the irony is that everything was
wrong.
fought. I believe it is. I believe every crime. Okay,
Well, we're here.
If a kid gets shot. All the things we've seen last year, unarmed black kids getting gunned down in the street, it's just not true. Okay, just because you had a couple incidents happen does not mean that there's a systematic racism that white cops are going to work and just shooting black kids dead. That's just not true.
Oh, I don't think it's racist.
Well, that's a children's answer to to something that they don't understand. So they look at things and they're sorry to get psychological, but their ego groups them in the thing so that they can understand it better, even though they're not really understanding it. You know what I mean?
I think it's a little more sinister than that. I think it's there's money in this, there's an agenda behind it, and those are the things that you see.
That's the nightly news shit I'm talking. That's the nightly news shit. That's the CNNs. That's the MSNBC types I'm talking about. Those guys.
You realize though,
those guys are like corrupt.
80% of the country though.
80% of the country regarding what?
The people that are getting their news from those channels,
Yeah.
only those news.
Well,
it's about 80% of the country. So you can't say those are the children because, and all those people are getting fed a bunch of bullshit that black kids are getting gunned down in the street, and it's just not true.
If they make poor arguments, I can call them children.
And that's why we call them. That's why we call them children, because it's conditioned. We call them children because they're conditioned by the nightly news to think that way. The guys on the anchor guys the anchor guys on the desk telling them these stories and portraying it in a certain way. Those are the guys that might be, I would say, corrupt, as opposed to the ignorant kids that are watching the news and regurgitating it around their neighborhoods and all, like, it's the white guy holding me down and all that shit.
So again, I would call those people the neutral. They're neutral.
Yeah. Ignorant, children, immature, whatever you want to call them.
Versus the people that... Go ahead.
I don't really understand where you disagree with him. Then this is where I started my whole put me down this path.
Ben?
Yeah, I don't really see. Is it just this issue in particular that you're talking about?
No.
No. There's a
Can I have
trend.
another one?
Well, the abortion one would be one.
Okay, specifically.
That he basically calls them murderers.
Yeah.
And that it should be. He's basically implying that it should be governed by the law to hold people responsible for having abortions. And I say that's immoral because
I think what he says is that it shouldn't be openly accepted, and that we should really try to start trying other means. For example, there are millions of people that line up, or hundreds of thousands at least, that line up with a lot of money for in vitro and everything else that would line up to adopt these kids. Okay, and again, this is a decision that should have been made before you were pregnant.
100% agree with you on that.
So to wake up and act like you woke up pregnant and now it's society's problem to fix your fuck up is not okay. Now keep in mind, a lot of which these people have religious beliefs that they truly believe it's murder. So to take their hard-earned money and force them to pay for murder, they're just not okay with it.
I understand, but at the same time, they can't make the moral, like, in the best scenario, you wouldn't have to.
No, you're absolving them of responsibility. They're completely irresponsible.
Hold on. You wouldn't have to legally force with the abortion issue in a perfect world, right? Because people would be waiting for love or whatever the hell to have kids, or to even have sex maybe. But since we have the world we live in now, we have to allow them to make the moral choice so we can get to that fucking world. You know what I mean?
And if it's by force...
No, I disagree. I really do, because I feel like... I think if you took a step back and really listen to what some of these quote-unquote conservative people say and stop looking at it through a conservative or liberal lens and really look at it, the majority of the problems that we have today are because men aren't honoring their obligation with children. Women are too liberal with sex, and too many children are born out of wedlock. And when children are born out of wedlock, that is a direct, you can almost predict their future. I know you know people that had single parents, but the vast majority, 70% of people in jail came from a single mother. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So if you could do one thing to change the entire society we live in, it would have more fathers present in the home. And that alone would have a domino effect that changed everything.
So that automatically makes them good people.
It doesn't matter. It's a fact. That's another thing that people don't understand.
Well, there's choice involved.
No, hold on. Do you realize that children that are abused by their parents, it's often, now depending on the extent of abuse, it's often more damaging to take that child out of the abusive home and put them in a foster home than it is to leave them abused with their natural parents.
Are those based off statistics?
Yes. Again, it depends how...
You see where that... my bad.
It depends how dramatic of abuse we're talking about.
Okay,
but I mean, just like people argue that, oh no, two women can raise a kid. Listen, there is a reason that our entire society is predicated on male and female. That's what it takes to move on. There's a reason that kids in mother and father homes do better.
That sounds like conditioning.
Yeah, you're leaping again, because that's
not conditioning. That's biology. It's been going on since forever.
What you're talking about is the id, which is basically the drives and instincts, Freudian in a way. Those are conditioned things.
No, I don't think they are. See, they try to say gender is conditioned. It's not. You know, men and women have been acting the same forever. They're trying to make women now do different things than they do. They try to account for the wage gap by saying women get paid less. No, women choose jobs that pay less. Women spend less time in their career. Women take 9 months off to be pregnant and raise a child. Women don't want to work their whole lives at a career. They want to raise a family. There's reasons women get paid less. It's not, when women have the same exact job with the same amount of time, with the same amount of years in the career, same workforce, they actually get paid more than men. It's just not true that they get paid less. That's what I'm saying. So if you don't look at things with the right variables and you just take the end result and you don't know why that result is the way it is, it may be skewed through natural causes. Women just choose these things.
This could easily go into conditioning. And
I disagree. Women have been preparers and gatherers, and men were hunters since the beginning of time. That's just the way it is.
All right, I used the wrong. I didn't mean condition. I meant this goes into existentialism and who a person really is.
For example, right?
Now,
I heard
these guys, I haven't heard any answers to this.
Because you're talking about feelings, and it's just,
no.
You are.
It takes more than just feelings. It brings logic with it. It brings reason with it. It brings feelings too.
Okay.
It brings
give me a
psychology.
policy.
Huh?
Give me a policy.
Policy for what?
Change something. I heard you say the word existential many times and metaphysical. Put that in a policy.
It can't really be a
Some
it
kind
can't
of
really be a
policy that
positive.
would make this world a better place. Tell me how you would do that.
It can't really be a
because it's all
policy.
Feelings.
It can't really be a policy because, first of all, we use words to communicate, correct?
Yeah, but we're getting incredibly vague now.
No, we're not. Just wait.
We use a lot of things to
We
communicate.
use words to communicate,
Words
correct?
is one of them, yes.
Now, how do I know what someone means by when they say a certain word? Does it not filter through my existential look on the world?
Yeah. Okay. Let's just.
So
say
how are you gonna have me? How are you gonna have me put in policy using metaphysics or whatever and have it be understood by everyone in the world? How's that gonna happen?
You literally just proved my point.
No.
Exactly my point.
What's your point?
Because it's so vague that you yourself can't
isn't
put it
vague.
into words.
Wrong. Well,
into words,
yes, as far as words go, but wrong
So this is why
but wrong,
people like Ben
but,
Shapiro
but
don't.
wrong as in action, right? There's an objective. If there's an objective morality, and it's within each human being, they have to find it internally and then express it externally through action and attempt to in words. Now, do I need a doctrine written down for that process to happen? No.
Of course, yes.
No.
Because here's the thing.
No,
you can't
no,
put
because
that
then you're
into
taking
effect.
choice again.
You can't put it into effect. It's not something real. It's not something tangible.
That
may
Yes,
be
it is.
true.
Are
That may
you
be
real?
true in theory, but it's not. It's
Are
just
you
not.
real?
It's too vague.
Are you
You're
real?
being vague.
Are you
Being
real?
vague.
Are you real? Are you real?
I'm not gonna give that an answer. That's
Prove,
retarded.
prove to me you're real.
Come on, dude. This is good. I think
Okay.
this is a good thing.
Well, you're speaking to me, so if I'm not, this says more about you than me.
So yes, right?
I'm not gonna answer that question
Why?
because it's ridiculous.
No, it's not.
It's just
It is.
How?
it's not thought out from a lot
And my
of a lot of
fiance just
people.
woke up, so I don't have much more time. Can you go to a point you really care about? Because that's too vague, and you can't
It's-
explain
first
that
of
to
all-
people. That will not change the world.
Like I said, put the kids aside, let the adults sit at the table and really discuss these type of things.
Who are
But
the adults?
People
Who chooses the adults?
maturity. They choose themselves.
That's not how it works.
Yes.
It's a democracy. That's narcissism.
Hey, dude. If you gotta go, if you want, we can like set up a day where we could just talk and stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's up to you.
Awesome. All right, you can message us through Google Hangouts, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can just talk, dude. You know what I mean? We
All right,
pick
man, I'll
a,
hit you up.
we can pick a subject and shit. All right.
Yeah, well, I'd rather you watch some more of those videos and tell me where you disagree. That'd be a good starting point.
Okay.
I think we have. You can go look. We did some Ben Shapiro videos before, but
And other
check it
All right,
videos
I'll
as
check them
well.
out.
All right, dude. I appreciate
Have a good
it.
night.
I really appreciate
cool
it.
talk.
No doubt.
Peace.
Yeah, bye.
See, that's what I like, man. You know,
Yeah.
people calling in and stuff. Fuck, I'm cold down here. All right, we got to answer some of this stuff first.
Go ahead. I'm all the way at the bottom. I don't know where we left.
All right. All right, I basically left off somewhere around, like Tanya said, he sounds 10, LOL. Shit, Ben, not Norman. All right, tried to call you and... All right, toasted. Right here.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, right here.
The SLPC says the new Black Panther party is anti-Semitic. I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Me either. Mr. Spinks, people drop the anti-Semite card at the drop of a hat. The ADL/SPLC's sole purpose is to smear critics of Israel as, quote, anti-Semites. There is reason to believe that there is a group that will basically go after any critic of, I would say, Israel's government, as in their deeds, not who they are for whatever, not who they are. For what they believe in as far as religious ideals or values or whatever the fuck. It's mainly for their actions. There is some reason to believe out there that there are groups out there that will purposely discredit those groups and call them anti-Semite by design. You know what I mean? So it's more of a we're gonna call them that because it's gonna make them look bad.
They do a lot of conflating, you'll hear. I don't know if we're gonna play a video anymore, but I think he brings up the BDS movement. Which, we're gonna continue. If you're a protester type of person, and you have let's say there was Nazi Germany, right? The BDS would be a non-violent way to try to handle the situation here, right? Yeah. Boycotting, divesting, and sanctioning.
It's just like this.
Not up to a human rights violation level as far as sanctioning. You allow food and shit in, but we're not gonna give you weapons. We're not gonna do finance all your shit. Yeah. We're not going to do it. That makes sense as far as a non-violent way to go about things. But if you bring that up, it's considered an anti-Semitic movement.
Which is ridiculous. All right. Mr. Spinks, if some dude wants me to call him Rebecca or whatever, I don't care. I'll call him Rebecca. Who cares? Well, yeah, I get what you mean, but in the end, you care enough to go yeah, dude, I'll call you Rebecca if you want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I forgot
You have to care to not care.
I forgot the person's channel, but they're transgender, and they're we don't, go to scientists and say, okay, we're men now, or we're women now. Yeah. Right? They do it as in a persona type of thing. Their idea of a woman is how they want to be recognized. That's I don't find that's the same as calling listen. Call me Dylan instead of Bob. My middle name's Dylan. I like that name better. Call me Dylan.
Bob.
It's what's the big deal about that? The problem would be when they try to prosecute people for not saying the right gender pronoun.
Toasted. He did destroy Cenk Uygur in a debate on Politicon.
That's Cenk Uygur, though. I mean,
I'll be honest. It must have been.
It might as well been a college student.
It must have been some sort of on the surface argument. Very.
Again, I think I've seen parts of the Politicon debate, and it's I expect Cenk Uygur to bring up the same SJW arguments that the nightly news does. Yeah. Right. He doesn't. I'd rather hear people asking Ben about war, certain things like war and all these other things. Yeah.
Levi, Cenk just shouts over people to get his arguments across. He's an idiot. Mr. Spinks.
I might agree with you.
Cenk bites the pillow.
Fuck.
Mr. Spinks, moral relativism.
Yeah.
Tanya, deflection.
We just watched a video sort of on moral relativism and how this guy, because a lot of the things I heard Norman saying are things I've heard Shapiro say, almost word for word. Yeah. So I'm Ben doesn't believe in moral relativism.
No. At least that's what we hear.
I think Shapiro would say something to the effect of, well, if you know this thing is good, that means you're basing it off of something ingrained possibly, which means there's an objective morality because you have a reflection type of scenario going on, right? Killing is bad. Why is it bad? I feel that it's bad or whatever, which means there must be a higher order to things.
Kevin, I don't know if I explained that. I don't know how to say that right. It was good enough. Send me this guy's info. I want to debate. Hey, dude, why not? Sure.
Who said that?
This guy named Kevin.
Oh, that's CECC Point News.
Oh, it is? Oh, my.
Those are the guys we're going to have on.
Awesome.
And I forgot to check my emails. Forgive me.
I said we would get to... all right. Spinks said, Shapiro is terrible on trade, for one. Shapiro is even worse on corporate welfare. His foreign policy position sucks, too. Yeah. Hold on.
Those might be the worst. Because I think he was all right with like the Vietnam War. What I heard him say was that we just went about it the wrong way. It's like,
hold on. Hold on, fuck! I went over a bunch of shit. All right. No worries. He's just like raving all the while.
Ranting.
Yeah, ranting. My bad. Let Kevin in there. Oh. Mr. Spinks, the left, like the right, is full of ideological and behavioral subgroups. Mr. Spinks, some cops are virulent. I don't know how to say that.
where?
Right here.
Some cops are
Yeah. Racists and
Virulent?
shoot black kids, and some black kids commit violent crimes and they get shot by cops who aren't racist.
Yeah, like it's it's like life. So it's hard to just narrow things down.
Levi, is this Matt Hunter? LOL. Fuck. Alright. Toasted. Ah, great. He did destroy Sankey during debate on Politicon. Would you be okay with making killing legal for the exact same reason we should make abortion legal? Listen, it's the idea, right, that, well, killing should be illegal. All right, listen, killing is immoral, so I shouldn't have to write it up on a wall for you guys to follow it, you know?
Yeah.
It should be, like, if you're following the law, right, like, if I give someone which is probably which our law system, our basic laws are based upon, some sort of basic moral understanding of what's right versus what's wrong. Don't steal, don't kill, etc., right? So if you just follow that because it's the law, like, is that really, like, morality there, or are you just following it because it's, well, that's the rules? Listen, you can only kill 2 black guys a day.
Yeah, and that works in the opposite direction. It's not writing on a board. Killing is legal now.
Yeah.
It's not saying anything about it. We just know it's wrong. That was our idea of the perfect, quote unquote, perfect society. How they would understand things. They would understand things through an existential development, which allows them to make moral decisions in action, not in lawful words.
I think it's wrong to take away choice. That's what I mean. By choice, I mean, oh, he's pro-abortion. Look, I mean the choice to literally do things, to make your own moral decision or immoral decision. Okay?
And then,
like, without it, then what is it? Listen, you need to do the right thing or you can do the right thing. By the right thing, I mean, you either do this thing on the wall or I'm going to beat you to death. It's like, what choice is there? There is no good without choice. You take away choice, then what is choice? The freedom to make a decision, which freedom shouldn't be a law. Listen, we're giving you your freedom. I already have it. Okay? It's you opposing your tyranny on me. Tyranny as in you're taking away my choice to walk where I would like to, as long as I'm not hurting anybody else. As far as an understanding between good and evil, the difference between hurting someone and not. You know what I mean?
and yeah.
All right. Let's see.
I just want to say that it's about, look, if everyone did the existential work to where there is no corruption as far as action in the world, then there'd be no reason to write down murder is illegal or write down that it's legal.
Yeah. All right.
Be what it be.
Exactly. Tanya, so you would rather keep a bad family together than healthy? She might have been talking to them.
Yeah.
I mean, him. Matt Hunter, Mr. Spinks, name some white cops that shot black people because those people are... Well, here's the thing. Matt Hunter would have an argument as far as, well, you don't know their intentions. And we will never know their intentions. Because I can't read your mind.
But at the same time, you can be practical about it.
Sure.
Right? You got black kids listening to hip-hop where they're talking about shooting people and all this shit.
Yeah.
A cop might walk into a scenario and be like, I've heard some of these songs.
No,
this kid might
He just looks
might
around.
shoot.
He heard a snippet of Get Rich or Die Trying. There are 50s everywhere.
And
See?
And the cops, in my mind,
that's fear.
in the overall sense of things, that cop would be an innocent. I wouldn't say the action's innocent, but he would be an innocent because of his ignorance. And also the system of allowing non-champions through their system.
Yeah. Basically, it should be this. Hey, guys.
A champion should be a champion. If they were a cop, they'd be looking at this scenario completely through. Completely through. Like, it's not what'll happen to me if I don't shoot this kid.
Yeah.
It's what will happen to this kid if I shoot him? That's the question the cops should be asking immediately.
Yeah.
How do I take care of everyone in this scenario?
It's basically the hero that knows why they're a hero versus one that's accident by accident. Meaning, a soldier that signs up for the army, goes into war, has no idea what that war is for, didn't really do any investigating, just did it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Either they're ignorant, like let's say somebody lied about false pretenses, that's the word, or pretext, whatever. They go into war. He's there or she's there, whatever the fuck, and they happen to save a civilian. They're a hero. Versus when you have a champion who knows why they saved that person. They know.
Yeah. There's someone who just works on their innate feeling like, this is wrong, I have to do something.
All right.
As opposed to someone who understands the worst implications of it and the righteous thing to do.
All right. Let me read this.
Literally ways.
Tanya said, wow. Just like Owen Wilson. Wow. Shaking my head. Mr. Spinks, he's tagging people.
Cool.
Mr. Spinks to Matt Hunter, yeah, there's no racist cops. LOL. Matt Hunter, what's your proof that I guess police shot the black people because of racism? Mr. Spinks, because racism is proven in court.
Rodney King. That sort of happened.
All right, we're close. All right, they're kind of arguing amongst each other. Matt Norman said, why are you not okay with cutting off the balls of a pedophile? That must have been a while ago.
No, that's near where I'm at.
Oh, yeah? No, I mean a while ago, as in, like, he might have left. They will never be fit for a society. Well, okay, even if he's not here, I'm going to touch upon that, okay? Look, why are you not okay with cutting off the balls of a pedophile? Well, for one, you're harming them. What's that going to teach them? How are they going to understand that what they did was wrong, okay? By me harming them. That's not going to do anything. That's just me being a tyrant. Number two.
That's more fear-based stuff.
It is more fear. Yeah, two. They will never be a fit for society. Okay. So he's for killing and castrating them. A pedophile. Or raping, or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah, a rapist.
Okay. So how can they have redemption? They can't because I'm killing them.
Yeah, not in this lifetime at least.
No, not in this lifetime, no. So if I kill them, right? Well, first, that's the immoral thing to do, killing somebody for whatever reason. For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Versus it happening on an accident. That's something else. Intentions, meaning I intend to kill you because you did this. Okay, dude, now you're not good. This is an empty action you're doing. Meaning, instead of pursuing the right thing as far as giving them the ability to, listen, dude, I hate what you did. I don't hate you. You're just a silly, stupid fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the point is, you're giving them, not giving them because they have it, by not killing them or whatever the fuck, you're giving them the room as far as existential growth, meaning they can redeem themselves or pursue internal redemption. Even if the society rejects them, they can find internal redemption.
Which has I would want to say, shockwave effect on the
believe
rest
me,
of the world.
If they know what they did was wrong, as in know what they did, knowing, okay, that's big. If they know what they did was wrong, it's going to be a lot worse than anything you could fucking do to them. Just being honest.
And also following that logic, like, you would be next. You'd be next to be killed by the state or whoever.
And why is that?
Well, you just castrated a person and killed them. Like, you're next.
Yeah. He said murderers should be killed.
You're also murdering a part of yourself
Yeah.
when you take revenge instead of redemption.
Again, that's like this in a way. Just burying a part of your consciousness, burying it and burying it. And that's why, sick. And that's why he won't do the shadow work.
Yeah. Also, if you believe that, we should take a lottery. And whoever wins that lottery is the one that gets to pull the trigger. Good luck sleeping. If you have a conscience, good luck sleeping.
As far as they know, they'll never be a fit for a society, for this society. Probably not, because our society mainly consists of corrupt, ignorant people, and it's a sick society that breeds people who will fucking murder.
Yeah. How far back do we keep killing? Right. Like,
When does that ever work?
This guy's a pedophile. Oh, okay, his parents abused him.
Again,
Got to kill them too.
Again, I'll bring up the Larry Nassar.
His parents abused.
I will bring up the Larry Nassar example. Okay, we will get back to the video, right? The Larry Nassar was the Olympic physio, PT, whatever, for the women's gymnastics team, or not gymnastics, right? What was it?
Yeah,
Olympics, and he's been there for a long time. But then, eventually it surfaced that he was basically what's the word?
Molesting
the women.
Yeah.
The kid and children. Like, you know what I mean? People, kids, etc. That's shitty, all right? But again, what good is it to what good are you doing if you just throw this dude in jail for the rest of his life? What is that going to do? First of all,
it'd probably just be torture for him.
Yeah. Now here's the thing.
An unhealthy torture.
If you're saying
nothing gained from it.
There's nothing gained to be from it, right?
Other than
and then if you say
his resilience.
Sure. So if another thing is this, well, okay, well, someone says, well, we should kill him. Like, well, what good will that do? Again, you're taking away his. Wouldn't it be ideal if you had a pedophile who basically redeemed themselves as far as internally, found redemption, knew what they did was wrong? Can you imagine?
Imagine him with a YouTube channel, convincing other guys who might commit the same acts. I walked through this road. Imagine taking someone who even thought about it and wanted to sit down and talk with Larry Nassar. Yeah. And he redeemed himself. He's like, oh, I know this path. Yeah. I know this.
Why can't
I know where your thought patterns are moving.
You see what I mean? See how it's stupid?
Yeah.
Someone said, I'll be out here moving mountains while you'll be rotting. It's like, okay, that's called revenge. All right? Now listen, just because something, look, and I mean this when I say this, there could be a dude that could kill like 100 million people. That guy deserves the chance to redeem himself. Now, I'm not saying, well, you're just going to let him run around and kill more people. I'm like, no. I'd obviously try to be like, okay, dude, you're kind of dangerous, okay? Not kind of, you are. Yeah. But we got to make sure that you're safe for you to go around in our society, which we believe, which we know to be healthy and happy. And, you know, this is an ideal world, okay? So what they do is there's a lot of self-investigation, you know. But again, he has to do it. The point is, you should aim for what is the most ideal thing morally, and go for that. You should strive for that, not settle.
Also, you could teach many lessons. If you look at it like, okay, this guy did this shitty thing. He goes through the process of redemption. We call it redemption, but it's like self-healing, basically. Or dying and becoming anew, if you want to go philosophical or whatever. The guy goes through that process.
Well, again,
now he can teach us a shitload. Instead of, just a clinical psychologist who's saying, well, his parents abused him, so that's why he's like that. Okay, done. Like, no, he can get to the real in-depth roots of what started his actions, what ideas, what feelings were going on. Yeah. What was going on through this entire process. So again,
if you have someone that does something like that, which is basically like straight up horrible, shitty, right? Someone that does that for a long ass time, hiding in the shadows, creeping around the cracks and shit, molesting people, like it's okay now, okay? Like they're doing it in private for a reason, okay? So when they get caught, right? They need to have the ability to do this, okay? Like you're fucked, dude. We got you. Now, if you say, like, well, he's a shitty person, like, dude, if I can get existential here, okay? As far as individual, there is no individual here. I'm not saying he's not a person. I'm saying an individual, meaning, again, this is someone that knows they're individual. Mm-hmm. It's a lack of an individual that's doing this, okay? They don't know themselves. That doesn't give an excuse, but you get what I'm saying here? Yeah. It's like, he's just a shitty person. I'm like, no, he's empty. Yeah. But you're neutral.
And if he went through the journey of learning who he was, he can literally trace back to like what was happening.
Again,
felt this sort of thing.
And this was an argument I was making before. Shit, I forgot. All right,
well, don't copy me.
Oh, this was a while ago. Fuck.
Crimp my style. So.
All right, not trying to be offensive. I know. Well, okay, Matt Hunter is talking to them. Not trying to be offensive, and I know I might I've said this before, but you seem like you're an anarchist. Can you give me a wrench? I have a couple of wrenches, I mean, you know. But,
we will be doing moderator things. I mean, for now, we sort of got it, but you are definitely on the list, Toasted. You'll be one of the first guys getting that blue wrench.
sure.
See, I want to sort of do it like
Hold on.
certain guys show up during the UFC shit. You know, fight fans.
Oh, sure.
They're like the moderators during the pay-per-views. And
I
all
don't
other
know,
videos,
yeah.
we'd have guys. Well, Toast could do that too, but
I don't know.
you know what I mean.
I don't know who we had to do it last time. Oh, okay.
We had Goat Squeeze.
Okay, well, I don't know. Look, I don't really categorize myself as an anarchist or anything like that. I'm an advocator for good ideas. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Yeah, you can't take anarchists and in this world's context. That's not because I understand there are guys that'll strap on bombs and blow up as many people as they
Like,
can.
tell me what an objective truth is.
Well, that seems
The definition of the word objective truth.
there's no need to say objective if you say truth.
Just please,
It is what it is.
an objective truth. What's objective mean?
It is what it is.
Okay. Now you put truth with it, right?
It is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would just say
see how
truth.
like sometimes like with these words that we all like as far as like a community or a cluster of people agree upon, there's somewhat silly things like a subjective truth. It's like, well, either it is or it isn't. It's not subjective.
Well, here's the thing. I get what they're doing. They're trying to categorize things. Like you'll hear Peterson or Sam Harris talk about metaphorical truth. They're just talking about truth that's in different avenues of
Yes,
things.
but it can get a little weird. All right. All right, he's talking to them. Tanya said, yep, shadow work requires internal review and accountability. Yes.
Yes, Tanya.
Levi, is Jeffrey Epstein still in jail? I don't know. I don't fucking know. Probably not.
He gets every 20 years he has to spend one night in jail, but there's a jacuzzi and strippers there for him. Other than that, he's free to go. He gets to go back to his little island.
All right. Toasted said, is that a Gucci hat? I think he's talking to you.
No, it's a.
It's not me. I've had this since I was like 9.
I think I bought this last year. It's just a hat.
I finally grew into my
It's a
my
Scully.
human skull.
It's a Scully.
All right. Something that is, quote, true, independent of the human mind.
Well, who's there to witness it?
You have to be there to experience it, you know what I mean? If there's no you, then what is there? That's just like someone saying the veil of ignorance. How can it be a decision if you're not there to do it? You know what I mean?
There's truth, yeah, but I do say that there is, because, well, first of all, who are you defining as, you in that scenario?
Sure.
Right? You could be ignorant of yourself.
Yeah.
You could honestly love pink rainbows and unicorns,
I like pink rainbows.
but if you don't investigate yourself, you won't find that out. Thus, there could be truth sitting right there. You never really observed it.
Okay.
So if you mean the ego observing it, then okay.
Then truth is relative. No.
Truth is not relative.
Hold on. Toasted said, no, I'm talking to the probably white guy. Is it?
Looks pretty Gucci to me.
He's talking about your hat. I was officially made black by my peers. They recognized me as black. I'm just kidding. It is not. I don't fucking know, and I don't care if it's Gucci or not. Someone just said, "Here." Mom's like, "Here you go." I'm like, thanks. It's cold out. Do you like Sam Cedar? I haven't really looked into whoever that is.
As far as he's another one of those guys where it's like, okay, you sound alright on issues, but I don't know how much of your heart is into it.
All right, let's continue.
Like when you're willing to play the political games and not just be like, this is fucked up and it's wrong. Right? When he's talking about Jimmy Dore criticizing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, it's like no, we need her to be safe so that someday she'll be in a higher office and then she can implement those progressive ideas.
Oh, him.
It's
yeah.
like
No.
It's like no, you don't wait.
This guy.
You don't wait.
You got to play the game. Like, I'm not gonna play no game, dude. That dude. Nope.
You don't wait. You don't compromise. You're outright with your morals, straight up.
The green and red stripes.
You don't hold back. You don't hold back your morals to get to some goal and then start reinstituting your morals, right?
So if every human mind disappeared from the universe, then would truth remain?
If every human mind disappeared from the universe, would truth remain? It's a tough question because, well, would the world still be there? That would be your first question to ask. If the world's still there, then yes.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the left-wing Sarah Palin.
She's not that bad. She's not that bad. But I think she's wishy-washy. I think someone could move her.
Yeah.
Just on a political move, just move her positions. Slowly but surely move them.
Let's finally, after 5 hours...
Let's watch some Ben. Yay.
The Ben Shapiro Show. Blah, 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 blah.
In here is an open embrace of anti-Semitism. So, what have you seen from the left? Nothing. Dead silence. Nothing.
Ultimate Warrior?
For who?
Norman has subscribed to us.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, do the... No, it's...
I don't have enough rights for that, so pardon me.
Give me 16 weeks.
I apologize if there's any Ultimate Warrior fans.
Poor answer. That's not a poor answer. Continue with the video. Wait. I love it. The image you paused at. He's like, go ahead, look. Imagine. Blah, blah. Alright. It is not a poor answer.
I would love to go into detail with you, Matt Hunter. All I do is call in someday.
Yeah.
Not a thing. So we get a lot about Steve King, we get a lot about President Trump, we get a lot about the alt-right, and we hear a lot about anti-Semitism on the right, even though the amount of anti-Semitism on the right is significantly lower than the amount of anti-Semitism on the left. But Mark Lamont Hill goes out there and says, from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free, calling for the...
Bars, first of all.
I don't think he said that. I think we want to free Palestine from the river to the sea, or whatever the fuck he says. I don't think he has said like a whole slogan with it, like Ben did. I think Ben's just quoting Hamas or something like that.
Probably.
And then attributing it to Mark Lamont Hill.
She is dumb. She thinks unemployment goes down because people have 2 jobs and healthcare pays for funerals. I actually think she is dumber.
Because what? Goes down because people have 2 jobs.
I'll have to look into what she says, dude. You know what I mean?
Well, unemployment, from what I heard, goes down because they don't count certain people. Once you stop looking for a job after a certain amount of time, they stop counting you as unemployed. They count people who are searching for jobs.
That's weird.
Some
That's why
people might give up
statistics
or whatever.
seem a little
Yeah, you can play with them.
shady, you know? All right.
And healthcare pays for funerals. I don't know. I'd have to look further into this shit.
The full-scale genocide of 7 million Jews, and everybody's like, oh, whatever, it's just a CNN commentator. So what?
No, go back.
And the right is significantly lower than the amount of
Fuck.
No.
I have to refresh it.
No, Ben. No, don't. No.
God. Dang it. Wait, where were we at?
Oh, God.
Fuck.
You didn't look?
Oh.
of anti-Semitism. So, what have you seen from the left? Nothing. Dead silent. Nothing. Not a thing. So we get a lot about Steve King, we get a lot about President Trump, we get a lot about the alt-right, and we hear a lot about anti-Semitism on the right, even though the amount of anti-Semitism on the right is significantly lower than the amount of anti-Semitism on the left. But Mark Lamont Hill goes out there and says, from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free, calling for the full-scale genocide of 7 million Jews. And everybody's like, oh, whatever, it's a CNN comment.
Okay, stop it. How is that calling for genocide?
Because it's anti-Israel sounding. And, wait, is he talking about the Holocaust when he says 7 million Jews?
Let's listen to it again.
Or is there 7 million Jews?
Oh, by the look of his face, I'm not sure he knows exactly what he said. But
I don't think he believes it either.
let's just go back really quick to hear him again.
God damn it. This freezes. I swear to God.
You swear to me?
We get a lot about President
want
Trump.
these feet?
We get a lot about the alt-right. And we hear a lot about anti-Semitism on the right, even though the amount of anti-Semitism on the right is significantly lower than the amount of anti-Semitism on the left. But Mark Lamont Hill goes out there and says, from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free, calling for the full-scale genocide of 7 million Jews. And everybody's like, oh, whatever. Whatever. He's a CNN commentator. So what? And this does have an interesting relationship with the left's view of anti-Semitism generally. So in this context, I bring up Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, every time I bring up Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I do so with this proviso. The reason I'm talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is because she has been appointed by the media and many on the left.
I think he has the hots for her.
I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I truly don't. Yeah, I don't even remember even that guy even remotely calling for the genocide of 7 million Jews whatsoever, based off of that thing, based off of that speech, even written on paper. Even written on paper.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
And people are asking why we're like, what the fuck? Why we're saying, what the fuck?
Levi. She was a bartender. Yeah. Cool. Toaster Network, are you anti-abortion or pro-abortion? Well,
anti-abortion or pro-abortion?
I'm for preserving life or a possibility of life. But at the same time, they need to make I want them to have the choice to do that. They need to have the choice to make a moral decision. And if I take that choice away from them, then is that them doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? No.
And we have plenty of things, right? You can't put abortion in a vacuum. There's plenty of things that need to be fixed.
That's not me.
Like incest, like rape, like ignorant people.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Like ignorant people following their pleasure principles. You know, hedonism, things like that. So this is an ecology of things going on.
I remember Ben challenging her for a debate, then she accused him of catcalling. Maybe he secretly whistled. Like,
I don't know. I think she has a typical SJW thing going on.
Probably. I don't trust her. I'll be honest, I don't trust her.
It's like, if someone asked me to, I would replace you with Jimmy Dore right now.
Yeah.
Without question, I would.
Yeah. It's intuitive. Question. It's intuitive. I haven't heard that much about her, but I don't trust her, dude.
I've heard her flip-flop too many times. I heard her say vote blue no matter what, but then maybe correct it later.
Nope.
She said support Governor Cuomo. I'm like, no, let's not do that.
All right. Would you debate me on the abortion? Well, if you mean him or me or us.
On another video, yeah.
Are you pro... Oh, he's talking... Norman's talking to Toasted. All right, continue.
Yeah.
As a thought leader for the Democratic Party. I'm not picking...
Kids are sleeping.
It's not like I just pick random Congress people out of a hat. It's not like I'm just... There are 435 of them. It's not like I'm just like, you know what, let's talk about some weirdo from Kansas today.
Oh, you guys have all the right answers... And Ben has all the wrong answers. I didn't say he has all the wrong answers, by the way. I did generalize when I said I hate his ideas. That wasn't a good thing to say. A lot of the ideas that cross into morality and things that would go in the existential aspect of it, he's like wrong. That's what I would say. If you guys have all the right answers and Ben has all the wrong answers, why is he more successful than you guys?
Does that really need an explanation?
Well, Matt Hunter, you see, there's globalists out there. Globalists.
Well, by success, I guess you mean monetary.
I'm just kidding, man. Yeah.
I guess you mean monetary wealth, which means absolutely nothing.
I'm broke.
I'm sure there's Saudi kings with more money than Ben. Are they more moral than Ben Shapiro?
I got no money.
But yeah, people with certain ideas like this probably get pushed away when it comes to not exactly Ben Shapiro's level, not like, you know, journalist type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as having a say in politics, yeah, they usually get nudged away.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Norman Jacobs, well, that wouldn't be much fun.
That's what I'm asking.
Toasted, both on a different video.
Hell yeah, man.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Matt Hunter, with all his wrong answers, why isn't he a bum living in the street? Well,
we already just went over this. Why? Like, yeah, Saudi kings, are they the most moral people because they're on the hierarchy up here in the hierarchy as far as monetary wealth? Are they the best people?
Yeah. Is Hillary Clinton a bum on the street?
No.
Sure, I think I saw her, you know. All right.
So that says nothing.
What do you mean?
You just look at the Jesus character. And,
Talking to us, Norman, or?
yeah. So, if given the opportunity, you wouldn't switch bank accounts with Shapiro?
No, I wouldn't.
All depends.
I wouldn't.
It all depends.
I'm good.
If he's like, listen, I can't handle this. Too much pressure on me.
I think maybe just like right now, like I'll do it.
Here's my money.
Like me stealing his money.
Oh, stealing? No.
No, I won't do that. If he said, "Hey guys, here, just take it. I can't do this anymore."
Man.
First of all, I'd be like, "Oh, what's good, man?" You know?
I want you guys to build something. I'm like, well, Ben, you're coming with us. If your money's coming, you're coming with us.
Like, yeah.
Or if you got to go into the fucking mountains and be a Buddhist for years, I understand.
Okay, I think Norman's talking to
yeah, he's
Toasted.
talking to Toasted.
All right. Dude, I want Ben to be right here.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Well, he's bigger than that, but you know.
I'd love to break down, you know, how he gets his ideas, where they come from, and just find out. If someone else
I don't think this dude's a monster. I think he's a look, just. You know what I mean?
Him as a person, as a whole, is not a monster. I know that for a fact. But does he have some creepy ideas?
Yes.
Fuck yes.
Look, I think he's like a lot of the people, you know. Within a certain scenario, people that probably don't make the best moral decisions out there, who don't really do any internal investigating or lack thereof.
Yeah.
And they're giving something like this, where they're influenced to make certain decisions, influenced to take a certain route in life. And it gets to this, and hey, you know, it's almost like this. It's like someone's like, you know, hey dude, you know, if I give like the common dude that's somewhat neutral with anything, I give them like a fucking ton of money, what do you think they're gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Conditioning has been a key word for a while with this, and it's just the same theme running on.
Let's continue.
Continuing. Yeah.
Okay, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez was a national figure. She was made a national figure and the face of the party by the media. When the face of your party is associating with open anti-Semites like Linda Sarsour, when the face of your party has embraced everyone associated with the boycott, divest, sanctions movement, which is anti-Semitism, the idea that people should not buy product from Israel and every product from Israel should be labeled basically with a Jewish star so people cannot buy.
See, that's, once again, and Norman, if you're still in the chat, is that a fact? That boycotting Israel means you want to put Jewish stars on their products, and is that in reality? I could be wrong. I'd be ignorant on the subject. That doesn't sound real to me. But even if you were an anti-Semite, why would you make it so obvious that you're being anti-Semitic? It's not even good criminal work. Come on, man. Are you fucking perv?
I want to see if they're real.
Oh, they're real.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, it's real.
No, it's damn real. That was a joke.
Alright. Continuing.
I'll do it. No, it's real.
Yeah. But, come on. How do you logically, like, look at that? Say, like, what if we're talking about, like Iran, they're just murdering babies and shit like that, or whatever the fuck they're doing. They're doing something unsavory, and someone's solution is like, we should boycott them. It's like, yeah, we should boycott them.
Well, so
Let's sanction them too.
it's no different. Look, I'm not saying like again,
Let's
what you said. I'm not saying take like let's say
Coca-Cola's
let's
get the fuck out of it.
let's say they're getting a mass.
divest.
Let's say they're getting a mass majority of food from like foreign exports and stuff like that. They're like, oh, and they're like, fuck you, no food for you. That's wrong. Okay.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is, you shouldn't support anybody or anything that's doing anything tyrannical, anything. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
It isn't.
should IBM and Ford, should they have divested, boycotted Nazi Germany? That would be a decent, like, as far as they don't have to go in there, they don't have to go in there themselves and just start machine gunning people. They could just say,
Would it be
we're not going to build your tanks anymore.
Yeah.
We're not going to number the Jewish people.
Another thing like this, right? Should people boycott Nike or Adidas or any other like sports apparel or clothing apparel like a company or a corporation that has sweatshops in foreign countries? Should they do that?
Yeah.
It'd definitely be the right thing to do. You know.
You boycott them, divest, which means if you have stock in their company, say I'm getting the fuck out of here. And I think as far as in this world, legally, countries should be like, you can't do business here. You're fucking hiring kids.
Yeah.
That's BDS.
Or
right
you're
there.
paying people $1 a day, knowing taking advantage of a horrible economic situation.
Yeah. Now I do understand there are dum-dums in all these types of movements. So instead of taking the actual definition of BDS, they just call it like a name, like a fucking like a label or whatever. This is our team, BDS.
Yeah.
Then you could have some anti-Semitism there.
I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
And I'd be like, fuck those guys.
Yeah, fuck them.
But as far as like the idea itself, if you feel someone's doing something wrong, and you want to do something non-violent, which you should be doing something non-violent, yeah.
At that point, the entire West supported Nazi Germany, including the U.S.
Yeah. Yeah. Then why wouldn't you BDS? Why wouldn't you do that?
All it takes is one individual to go, fuck you all.
Yeah.
All right.
And if, 3 people divested and the rest were like, we're still all in. Like, what does that say moral? Can we make a moral judgment there?
Yeah, just like,
Is morality still objective in that situation? Well,
is it moral
history would say yes.
Is it moral to fund both sides of the war? No. That's like, come on, fight.
Right? We can make those moral decisions in hindsight, right?
Retrospect.
We can do that now, looking back at it. Which means morality is objective somehow.
Which means we can eat the same team.
Which means
it's okay now.
Which means you can ask yourself, well, what am I doing wrong now?
Yeah.
That in 10 years someone might figure out. And, well, people have already figured it out, but...
What do you mean, why wouldn't they?
Put it in mainstream, whatever.
What do you mean? Why wouldn't they? I just don't know what he means.
Objective morality, that's why they wouldn't. All right.
Oh.
Continuing.
Hey, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, she does all this, right? She supported the Iran deal. She is a routine basher of Israel. Right? She spent a long time bashing Israel. We'll get to her past comments in a second. She has said that she is not in favor of a two-state solution. She told Haaretz, which is the anti-Israel Israeli newspaper, she told Haaretz back in, this would have been July, that she didn't know whether she was in favor.
And you heard that right there. I didn't quite hear the name of the newspaper, but the anti-Israel Israeli newspaper.
Yeah.
So it's that thing, people shouting at like at Norman Finkelstein, to where they're like, oh, you're just a self-hating Jew.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? So it's like, it's
really
the scenario of you're either with us or against us.
He was on a
That's what he's turning it
yeah,
into.
It's a team. I heard Finkelstein, right? Finkelstein?
Yeah.
On a podium basically stating the fact that because of the fact that happened, the whole isn't like playing like the Holocaust card, the Jewish card. But the fact that basically, okay, we understand that the Holocaust was any form of killing is tyranny.
Yes.
Any form of like just unjust act is tyranny.
So
hold on.
If Nazi Germany did it to one Jewish person, it'd be an atrocity to me.
It is, no matter what.
Yeah.
1, 2, or 10 million, don't matter. It's horrible.
Yeah.
So when we see unjust things happen to other people,
we call that out too.
Yeah. So no matter if you're from Iraq or Palestine or Syria or fucking even Oregon, even them.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, the point is, he's calling that out.
You can't account for objective morality. Yes, you can.
Wait.
I exist.
But you can't blame those that didn't have that luxury. What luxury?
Who couldn't? What?
He says, why would, but you can't blame those that didn't have that luxury. I don't know what you mean by that luxury. What?
To not support?
To not support. You can take...
They have a choice.
They have a choice.
It's just been difficult.
It's a moral decision. That's what champions do, though.
Well, for champions, it's an easy decision, but
when you're digging, it ain't.
For the people who don't quite get it. And also, you can't account for objective morality. Yeah, you can. Like, I am. There it is.
See?
Favor of the two-state solution. She said maybe there should be a one-state solution, which means the abolition of the state of Israel. Right? She said all of this clearly, and then she tweets out stuff like this.
By the way, one-state solution doesn't have to mean... What happened, like, we're just going to call it all Israel. We're going to get rid of Palestine and Israel and just call it all Israel. Just let these people live, live normal lives. Relatively normal lives.
It's a picture of from NBC News of that migrant family running away from tear gas. She says, asking to be considered a refugee and applying for status isn't a crime. It wasn't for Jewish families fleeing Germany. It wasn't for targeted families fleeing Rwanda. It wasn't for communities fleeing war-torn Syria. It isn't for those fleeing violence in Central America.
Awesome.
Compare...
Really quick, communism led to far more destruction and death. No, it was corruption that led to that. Ignorance and corruption, not communism.
Yeah.
That's that. All right.
Also, Ben, with his own version of intersectionality, I think he was claiming about, to where your value of a person is based on how much of a victim you are. Right?
Wasn't he mocking that?
Yeah. He's basically saying, okay, if you're a woman, then you're a victim of this level. But if you're a black woman, you're even more of a victim. If you're a gay black woman, you have you're on the hierarchy of victimhood, thus you get more privilege or whatever. Or people should be helping you out more. It's like, are you doing that here? I don't know.
All right, he said then Nazism.
They're all shitty, right? Aren't those all shitty?
He said then Nazism. So why is Nazism the left's go-to for absolute evil? Well,
why is not? Well, they blatantly. Well, first of all, we're in Western world.
Yeah. And
you have Germany, and you have World War II, which was considered a great war. Like we were just straight up just the good guys. There's not a lot of people are beefing against that, saying that we're like, oh, what we did was horrible. This is the worst thing we've ever. Like, no one's saying that.
No.
And yeah, they're the winner.
I don't pick sides when there's killing involved.
In the Western world, is the winners of history in that case. Thus, this great enemy that did this overtly horrible thing. They're easy to point to. Those guys and no, they're the go-to guys, aren't they? Nazis.
All right. Let me get to this real quick. Cured. If you let them reoffend, that's irresponsible. Well, that's why I was going to merely suggest a place where they can, obviously, have it like kept an eye on them, but by champions. I'd love to debate this. Your first word to defend them was that would hurt them. Yeah, it would. It would hurt them. Which is ironic because of the definition of a pedophile is they ruined a child's life. It's irredeemable. No, it is redeemable.
It is redeemable. But you think it's some super esoteric vague word, existentialism, but it's a real, tangible, grounded thing. I just don't think you looked into the works that involve this. I mean, we were just talking about Jungian psychology, Freudian psychology, Krishnamurti, Alan Watts.
Yeah, Young.
You think these guys were getting a reception? We're getting a positive reception from people just because?
I'm sure within history, certain philosophers.
He's old. I'll listen to him. It's like, no.
I'm sure certain philosophers have been persecuted within history. Like, listen, you have ideas, don't you? Into the jail cell you go.
These guys clearly resonate. Socrates. These guys clearly resonate.
Right. Norman says, "I'll haul tomorrow. I'd love to elaborate on this. I'm shocked at your stance and how sympathetic you are for child predators. LOL. Seriously, have a good night. I'll be in touch." Okay, dude.
Peace out, Norm.
Matt Hunter.
Cool dude. You're a cool dude, Norm. And we like to debate anyways.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Matt Hunter. If not for ignorance and corruption, Nazism would have been moral ?
Well, what we know as Nazism today wouldn't exist, son.
It wouldn't.
Right? Is that the question he's asking? If not for ignorance and corruption, Nazism would have been moral. Yeah. Well, the word, as far as what is it implied to, then it would be moral. But the way we understand the word now, based on all those events,
I would say
it wouldn't even exist.
The meaning of it.
It'd be so different that certain aspects of it would just not exist. Sort of like when we're talking about systems, right? Socialism and things like that. If the principle within the system is corruption itself, then it's not really a system, and that's what we mean by that. You get rid of the ignorance and corruption, there is no system left there to implement.
So again, it's like capitalism, but then there's corrupted people involved within that system itself. Is no longer capitalism because it's no longer a system. It's been corrupted by people.
Yeah.
The system itself is neutral until someone takes like a dab of ink and puts it into water. You know what I mean? All right.
It's like saying, fuck you.
Did I say guitar?
It's like saying, fuck you, and then fuck you, right? There's two different things going on there.
Yeah.
Same words, different things going on.
Just like music.
It's about the person.
It's also about you.
All right.
Comparing migrants at the southern border to Jewish victims of the Holocaust is not only disgusting, it's insulting historically, intellectually, on every level. But it does speak to to Central America. Families.
Whatever. God damn it, James.
Don't take my name in vain twice. Tanya. What if they had one? What if they had one? We would be prosecuted?
There's a picture of
who's in charge
from NBC News of that.
I'm not disputing, what happened or what most likely happened here. I'm talking about morality. I have looked into who funded what side of the war as far as when or how. So
if you take,
I would say,
I think I agree with Tanya. If you took most of the world now today, put them all in Nazi Germany, we would, 90-something% of us would be thrown in jails or whatever.
Sure. But again, you have to understand this though.
They're trying to rival us.
That behavior was heavily conditioned. Heavily.
Condition and ignorance and all that.
So
we'll keep certain people out of it who can't handle what shitty things we're about to do. And
so why are corruption and ignorance immoral? Well, corruption is immoral.
That's the definition of corruption. Immoral action.
You're making a choice knowing that. How would I word this correctly?
There's a maliciousness to it. To doing something shitty, no matter whatever the reason is for it. Also, ignorance, I wouldn't consider it immoral to the outside world. More of it.
I can explain it. Ignorance is like a child in his playroom, full of toys, just running around having fun. Truly. Like, we playing. And then outside, there's a man burning alive. And the kid has no idea. He's ignorant to what's going on outside.
Yeah.
Ignorant.
Yeah.
Now, let's say the kid's like 8, 9 years old, right? And then he turns around. Then he sees the man burning alive outside his house. He's being burned alive on some sort of stake. Or at least he's about to be. You know, he sees the fire. He's like, oh my God, help me, help me. And the kid decides to, well, I need to do something about this, right? Versus, well, if I say something, they'll get me. You know, is that a form of corruption? Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Knowing what source of absolute moral truth informs you that ignorance and corruption are immoral? Are you ready for this? Not
Corruption's the definition of corruption is immoral action.
Oh, my bad. I skipped Tanya. Yeah, but it began with Hitler being the one.
Yeah, the messianic figure.
Yeah, of evil.
He's here to save us.
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah.
I don't know if that's what happened throughout history, but
allegedly,
I could see that happen.
100%.
He speaks well. He's charismatic. He must be the guy.
Look at that mustache. He's just absolutely elegant. Okay, again, what source of absolute moral truth informs you that ignorance and corruption are immoral?
Once again, the definition of corruption is immoral. Is an immoral action.
Yeah.
And we just said ignorance is not immoral necessarily. It's more of a immoral act towards yourself. In a way. It can be, in a way.
All right. Tanya says knowing versus conditioning. And she asks, what is your moral compass? Well, I don't know if she's talking to me or Matt Hunter.
I think she's asking Matt Hunter.
He says, so a lawyer who was paid with illegal drug money to try a murder case and ended up with proving the suspect was innocent, that would end up bleh, fuck. That end would be immoral. Well, I got this. That end would be immoral because the lawyer was corrupt. Fuck, I'm just dumb today. This is good.
If the lawyer knows about it, then yes. If he knows he's has a guilty guy,
sure,
and he's trying to prove him innocent, yes, that's a corrupt action.
It's like blood money.
If he doesn't know, then he's just like,
that's ignorance.
The guy comes from a crowd. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And the lawyer's like, shit, I gotta get this guy out of here.
Yeah. He's ignorant to that degree.
Yeah. Video?
What video? There's no video.
Pay attention so I don't have to rewind.
Oh, dude, stop. Because whenever...
Migrant family running away from tear gas. She says asking to be considered a refugee and applying for status isn't a crime. It wasn't for Jewish families fleeing Germany. It wasn't for targeted families fleeing Rwanda. It wasn't for communities fleeing war-torn Syria. It isn't for those fleeing violence in Central America. Comparing migrants at the southern border to Jewish victims of the Holocaust is not only disgusting, it's insulting historically, intellectually, on every level. But it does speak to something deeper. And this is something I want to get into in just 1 second. Something deep and important about how the left...
Well, look. What is he saying? He's saying it's disgusting that she's comparing...
Basically, the immigrants, comparing them to, like, fleeing the Holocaust or something like that. And he's like, that's just disgusting. I'm like, not if you're so sensitive to... Not that I believe her. I don't know what her intentions are.
I don't know what her intentions were. Those are her words.
But if you're extremely sensitive to... If you're extremely sensitive and empathic and all that, yes, you can do that, Ben. You can have a kid cry when someone kills an ant. Yeah. That can happen, Ben.
No, I think it's a shitty thing to do. As far as when you see the ant, you're like, dah.
Here's the thing. Morality, as far as trending towards good, is a hierarchical thing until objective morality. Objective morality is the core within all the moral ideas. But when it comes to shitty ideas, they're all equally empty.
Oh,
which
sure.
is why.
That's why. Yeah. Again.
Which is why you might hear MLK say, "An injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere."
That's why, for me, seeing one guy get killed by a regime versus a regime killing hundreds of millions, it's just as bad.
Yeah.
It's empty and it's horrible and it's shitty. It's immoral. Okay? So, again, I don't know, like, if he's talking about all the numbers of people that died and the way it was versus...
If I hear that, I'm like, you don't know morality, or you do in your team playing.
The champion will see that, you know? They'll see that and, like, dude, they're both equally shitty. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If there's people getting, like, persecuted and being killed, then it's just as bad. So it's not immoral. It's not disgusting.
Yeah. Should I care? Should I have a less of a care if there was only 10 people killed in the Holocaust, as opposed to 6 or whatever, 6 million or 7 million?
What if they're all rapists?
Yeah, even.
Yeah, there you go. Look.
Further. It's like, yeah, you should fucking care equally.
Matt Hunter said, "No, yes." No, I'm just joking. You misunderstood me. Tanya said, replay, who saved a child rapist? I don't know what that's in context to. Matt Hunter, a lawyer knowingly took drug money to try a murder case and ended up proving the suspect innocent. They didn't prove anything, but I get what you mean. According to you, because the lawyer was corrupt, saving the innocent man from okay. Saving that innocent man from a life in prison was an immoral act. Intentions.
Yes.
You cannot do a good...
The lawyer knows it, otherwise he wouldn't be...
Again, look, hold on. A good deed cannot be called a good deed if you're doing it with ill intentions. Ill meaning immoral intent. I should use the immoral instead of ill. Immoral intentions. It's no different than, let's say Rockefeller donates fucking $2 million to some orphanage or somewhere, but he did it with the intentions of, this is going to make me look good.
Yeah.
That isn't. I like. Look, okay, immediately, it's just an empty action that happens to make somebody happy. That doesn't make it a good deed.
Positive and negative are different than good and evil. That's how I define things. Right? You can have some world war that leads to utopia. Okay, the utopia is positive, the war is negative, the immoral action is the war.
Yeah. All right.
Good and evil are not good, positive and negative.
Good cannot come of evil. Doesn't work like that. No. I'm speaking conceptual. They said that right. Tanya, I have seen in real life people let off because of immoral lawyers. I'm sure. Shitty. All right.
I'm sure that happens every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
They let you off.
Views anti-Semitism. Now, I'll get to that in just 1 second. First, let's talk about making your face look better. I mean, you wake up every morning, you look in the mirror, and you go, well, you shouldn't have to do that. Okay, it's that saggy jawline, that jawline double chin, that's what gives your age away. Well, you don't have to do that. Introducing the brand new Genucell jawline treatment with dual peptide and MDL technology, Chamonix's most advanced technology ever. It not only tightens that saggy jawline, it plumps the lipophilic layers of your skin to contour and define the jawline within minutes. You use peptides and metolactones together for the first time, and it works amazingly quickly. The results get better every day. No one else has this technology or their proprietary chemical-free base. So say goodbye to that double chin. Minimize that double chin right now. And here is the good news. It is yours free when you order.
Stop it. How do we go from talking about the Holocaust? It's disgusting. But really quickly, my new shallow face cream. Like, what? Come on, dude.
Yeah,
Come on. Fuck. That creeps me out, dude. That's creepy. That's fucking creepy.
The last one, but it was good.
But it was good for him. He got intel. A mom got off because she was paid. Isn't that immoral?
Yeah, and mom got off because you have to take each action on their own. There's always intentions at play, I believe, like you said, right? There's always intentions at play.
Basically, it's. I'll do it. I'll do it if I have. Oh God. See what I mean? I don't see that coming. It's just there.
Yeah.
It's like someone bending over and their butt's in your face. All right.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Yeah, I say take each case individually.
She said maybe, maybe
each
not.
individual as they are, their intentions, their motives. Even the drug dealer guy, he knows he's doing something wrong.
Frank Lucas, he knew what he was doing. Or I could get really I could get to like a philosophical and say he didn't know what he was doing. Because if he did, well then, that brother wouldn't have been doing it, right? Right? All right.
Is that the end of it?
Yeah, keep going.
For Genucel for the under eye bags and puffiness as well. I know that this product is great because my mom uses it. It comes to our house. It originally came from my wife. My mom grabbed it. She started using it, and now every time it shows up at the house.
It's enough for this one. It's enough. I think we touched upon it. Remember to text Chin to 84777. I don't have a conscience.
Just, gotta plug the chin cream. Gotta plug that shit. Alright. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment. Debate with us, debate with other people. It's a beautiful thing.
It's horrible. Blah, 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 blah. Alright.
So, subscribe if you feel like. Comment, always. And, as usual, give this video a thumbs down.